Hi, my name's Alan and I have the absolute privilege of getting to oversee Storehouse. This week past has been a really significant week for us, and I wanted to just take a moment and to pause and to reflect on a couple of things. Firstly, we turned 13. As an organization, Storehouse is now a teenager with all the challenges that brings, but it's such an exciting moment to just pause and celebrate the journey that God has brought us on. This week past also marked a year since we had to close down much of what we do day in, day out because of the pandemic. Many of you will know Storehouse mostly through provision, through food bags and clothes and furniture, but a huge part of what we do and what sits right at our heart is that development of community. And so many of our environments were relational, focused on gathering people together. And unfortunately, a year ago this week, we had to close those. And as I look back over that year, if I'm honest, I'm still grieving that moment. For many of those who call Storehouse home, this building and the spaces that we're able to create are one of the few places in our city that feel safe. And to have to take those away without any certainty of when we can return was really painful and really difficult, and something that we continue to grieve. And I would invite you to continue to pray that we could open up again as soon as possible. Also then, a year ago, we had to switch overnight how we responded to the needs of our city, and especially how we did some of the provision side of things that we're so familiar with. And I want to say thank you to you for your patience with us, for your continued generosity in providing, and for your continued volunteering. It has been a remarkable year, and I wanted to share some of the things that we've been able to do. So since March 2020, in the last year, we have provided just over 5,300 food bags. To put that into context, as best as we can work it out, that is between 140 and 150,000 pounds worth of food. Or if you like weights, that's over 130 tons of food. 3,300 of those food bags were delivered to people's homes because they couldn't come and collect. That was an entirely new system that we had to build overnight and work out how to do in a safe and socially distanced manner. We've had 50 plus drivers just stepping up and saying, I'll go, I'll deliver, I'll take all the restrictions needed, and wear gloves and masks and distance and shower and sanitizer, whatever it takes. And I want to say a huge thank you to you. And many of you in your churches have worked out, how do we continue to gather food and items whenever we can't meet in person? And you've gone around your neighborhoods and you've opened your garages and you've opened your cars and you've delivered them to places. And I just want to say a huge thank you for being so adaptable and changeable. One of the joys of the last year is that we've also increased the size of our food bags. So not only have we done pretty much double what we would do in a normal year in terms of food bags, we've also kind of doubled the size of those bags. We've added to every bag that goes out fresh milk and bread and eggs and potatoes and butter and fruit and vegetables. That has been such a joy to increase the ability to give fresh food to those that we serve, and that's something that we want to keep as we move into the coming seasons. For a while we had to press pause on our clothing provision and on our furniture provision. Those were things that were really tricky to do with social distance and still maintain the dignity that we hold so core in our values. And many of the places in our city that provide those things haven't returned, but we've the kind of team that have worked hard to find a way. And I'm excited to say that we were able to open up both those environments again. As of this week, we've done 307 close appointments since July, allowing people to come in a safe and distanced manner on their own into our clothing boutique to look through the clothes, to find what they want, what suits them, what suits their family. That's been such a joy to still be able to do that with dignity and with hope. We have, as of this year, been able to open up our furniture deliveries again, and we've done to date 130 furniture deliveries. That's almost 500 items given out free of charge to the most in need in our city. Let's put that into context. That is kids that have beds to sleep on that are off the floor in our city. That is parents who have fridges and freezers to store food in our city. That is families that can now sit together. That's folks coming out of hostels or off the streets who don't have to live out of a suitcase or have their clothes lying on the floor. Those things are worth adapting and changing and working hard to provide. And I want to say an incredible thank you to our furniture teams and our clothing teams. They have been resilient and faithful and courageous. They have worked incredibly hard to make sure that we can still do those things in safe and legal ways. And we are so thankful to them. And the beauty of this, as we reflect on a year past that's been incredibly difficult, is that we're actually coming out the other side, not only having built new systems and find ways to do them, the systems we now have in place are actually better. They reflect our values better. They are more efficient. They are systems that they were hard to put in place, but we can carry them into the future with confidence as we open up again, and we are thankful to God for that opportunity. In the midst of all that, we haven't just been sitting back, we have been dreaming and praying and imagining, what does Storehouse look like moving forward? What kind of an organization do we want to be as we open up? How can we open up to most meet the needs of a city in front of us? And we know that coming out of this, there are going to be difficult financial times ahead. There's going to be incredible physical need. There's also going to be a wave of mental health issues that we need to respond to. We're a positive community filled with hope, filled with the presence of Jesus. He's going to be more important than ever, and we're planning for that. And I am so incredibly thankful to our staff team, to our volunteers and leaders who have worked hard in really difficult circumstances to keep our community connected as best they could. They have done phone calls and texts and Zooms and doorstep visits and freezing cold walks in horrible weather. We have given out over £500 worth of data top-ups to try and help keep people connected in any way we can. We've managed to put together Wi-Fi dongle packages for families who didn't have data access and couldn't get internet for schooling with their kids and staying connected with their friends and family. We have delivered jigsaws and art materials and art projects to hostels and to homes to try and keep people with something positive to do in this time. Our team have been creative and they've done an incredible job. And in the midst of a pandemic, we did our biggest ever Christmas hamper delivery, heading out to over 220 homes, delivering the biggest hampers that we have ever delivered to make sure that a little bit of hope was restored in a difficult time. If I'm honest, personally as well, we've also wept over the last year, and we have lamented, and we have felt deep anger at how the most vulnerable in our city are always affected first and hardest. We've lost contact with some of those that we have just drawn into community over the previous years. We've seen some of those who've been working hard to see their lives move forward lose ground that was hard to gain. And at times, if I'm honest, we've been tempted to lose hope. But we haven't lost hope. We know that God is in control. We know that He is still on His throne, and we know that He has a plan and a purpose for this community and these churches coming together to restore hope into this city. And we are so incredibly thankful for all the ways that you have put your trust and your faith in us, all the ways you have partnered with us to get through this difficult season. And we are really, really ready and hungry to get opened up again and to get back to doing what we know we are called to do, back to developing communities that recognize the God-given significance in everyone in our city. Please continue to pray with us, continue to join with us, continue to hope and dream with us as we come out of this pandemic and serve our city in all the ways that God is asking of us. Thank you, and God bless.